Right now, the latest on a lawsuit filed against beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms. We hear Ridgeland's response. Also, another confirmed case of the measles in Wisconsin, what state health officials are saying. Plus, the sights and sounds from a youth drum class. We'll take you there. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks and we welcome you to News 3 Now. Let's go ahead and start with a developing story from yesterday. Monona police say a man is under arrest for starting a car chase after taking a passenger with him against their will. The man originally drove off from a traffic stop on South Park Street just before 1 a.m. Another officer saw the car traveling high speeds eastbound on the Beltline near Southtown Drive about 10 minutes later. As the officer entered the Beltline, the car reportedly accelerated and turned off its headlights, making multiple lane changes. The officer tried to pull him over, but the driver refused to stop, beginning the chase. Police pursued the vehicle onto westbound I-190. A tire deflation device was then deployed near the Cottage Road overpass, leading the driver exiting at Wisconsin Highway 30 when the tires began to fail. The vehicle was reportedly abandoned and the man was found hiding behind a pile of debris near Commercial Avenue and Buick Drive in the Burke Heights neighborhood. Now, this is video of that scene. Officers spoke with the passenger after it stopped and found that she was being held against her will. The driver, a 28-year-old Madison man, was booked into the Dane County Jail for felony attempted eluding, second-degree recklessly endangering safety, and resisting arrest. At the time of his arrest, he was serving out active community supervision stemming from a 2016 shooting and armed robbery. He also faces additional charges and has been served outstanding felony warrants. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, it's been a pretty pleasant day.
It has been. You know, we did see some sunshine out there. Saw a lot of folks out on Lake Mendota, myself included, enjoying that sunshine. Temperatures could be a little bit warmer, and they will be. We are going to be back into the 30s as we look ahead to Sunday. We're at 21 right now in Dodgeville, but with those winds still out of the east at about 15 miles per hour, it does feel like we are in the single digits. We also are beginning to see more of that snow pushing out of Dane County, out of Columbia County, and out of Rock County, pushing more or less into parts of Dodge, as well as Jefferson, Fond du Lac, and Walworth counties. So right now, I would say in Dane County, Marshall, Deerfield, Sun Prairie, even, we're still dealing with that snow, but most of that is in Lake Mills, Jefferson, Oakland, into Fort Atkinson, Cold Springs, south into Whitewater, Sugar Creek, further into Elkhorn, Lake Geneva. We also find a little bit of activity up towards Partyville and Beaver Dam. You can always find the latest radar by either looking at your First Warn Weather app or on our website. We are looking at the 30s tomorrow. The snow will be out of here by about 5-6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll take a look at possible totals, temperatures next week, and if there's any more rain or snow in the forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. And as always, you can track the forecast on the First Warn Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. A measles case is reported in Milwaukee County. State health officials confirmed the case on Friday. The case is linked to a confirmed case in another state and comes as DHS's Wisconsin wastewater monitoring program also detected measles in an untreated wastewater, which was collected in Walworth County. This is the first detection of measles in wastewater in our state. The case was exposed to measles out of the state and is not linked to the current confirmed cases in Waukesha County and Dane County. Due to privacy concerns, no additional personal identifying or health information will be released by DHS at this time. Now, this is the third confirmed measles case in Wisconsin this year. Again, those others were in Waukesha and Dane counties. That case in Dane County involved the UW-Madison student. And a Dane County judge dismisses a lawsuit filed against embattled beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms. The lawsuit was filed by the No Non-Human Rights Project and the Animal Activist Legal Defense Project, alleged that dogs at Ridgeland Farms are subjected to conditions that violate Wisconsin's animal cruelty laws. During the hearing, Judge Stephen Elke stated that he was sympathetic to the dog's unfortunate situation before dismissing the case last fall. Ridgeland Farms reached an agreement with a special prosecutor to resolve potentially hundreds of felony animal cruelty charges, agreeing to surrender its license to breed and sell dogs by July 1st of this year. However, the agreement does not place any requirements on Ridgeland regarding dogs that remain at the puppy mill between now and then. The lawsuit argued that this violates those dogs' rights to be protected from cruelty under Wisconsin law. In a statement from Ridgeland Farms, the breeder, they responded with the following. While we applaud the court's decision, we also recognize that some individuals opposed to health research in animals remain unwilling to accept the result of the recent settlement between Ridgeland Farms and the state of Wisconsin. The UW-Madison Habitat for Humanity organization held its 30th annual Super Bowl fundraiser. The family-friendly tradition brings attendees and UW-Madison students together at West High School to support the Dane County community. With ticket purchases, guests could choose from one of over 100 different handmade ceramic bowls to fill with soup and then take home. Aside from the meal, guests could mingle, partake in a silent auction and other activities as they listen to some live music.
So all of the money that we raise goes to Habitat Dane County for affordable housing. So that means building homes for families who are low income here in our community, and we do about 10 house builds a year right now. I think it's just cool that we get to, as students, connect with the community.
A few familiar faces even helped out. News 3 Now's very own Kyrion Lee and Brady Mallory joined the fundraiser as celebrity soup servers. And families stopped by the Overture Center this morning for a musical performance by local youth. Drum Power is a local youth development program aimed towards teaching life skills through West African, Afro-Brazilian, and Afro-Cuban drumming. Those involved with the group also learn to focus on discipline, leadership, and community through using their energy on good things, even when no one's watching.
I'm always amazed at the energy and power of children. I think they're drawn to anything that shows them that they can express themselves in a powerful way. Ultimately, this is really just about helping them harness their energy in a positive way through this, and hopefully they can apply it to other situations in their lives.
Founder and director Earl Lashley created the group back in 2001 in Harlem before bringing the idea here to Madison in 2010. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Drum Power, they will be holding an African Night celebration at the Madison Youth Arts Center at 6 p.m. on May 29th. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, how a study looks at how well a cancer treatment works depending on the time of day it's received. Plus, we are entering the 1-week mark since the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother. All that authorities know so far.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
Thank you for staying with us tonight. A new wave of backlash after the massive final dump of the Epstein files. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer is the latest to face fallout. CBS's MTS Tyab is at our London bureau and has new details in what is now a global scandal.
At the center of the scandal is this man, Peter Mandelson, a former senior power broker for the governing British Labour Party and an ex-ambassador to the U.S.
My mother would be proud.
Mandelson is now under criminal investigation for his ties to convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. This week, British police searched 2 properties linked to him, searching for evidence that he improperly shared confidential government and financial information with Epstein while holding public office. If proven, he could face jail time. In the wake of the scandal, Mandelson resigned this week from the House of Lords and quit the Labour Party.
Was there number 10 cover-up, Prime Minister?
The fallout is now directly threatening the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Keir Starmer has admitted to Parliament he knew of Mandelson's past association with Epstein, but that he had not been told the truth about the extent of the relationship.
He lied, and he lied again to my team.
The admission has sparked a furious backlash, including from members of Starmer's own party, who are openly questioning his judgment and his leadership. Connections to Epstein hasn't spared Britain's royal family either. Andrew has been stripped of his royal titles and duties over his association with Epstein.
And a new published study finds how well a cancer treatment works may depend on the time of day it's given to patients. Researchers gathered more than 200 people who had the same kind of lung cancer and put them on the same type of treatments to fire up their immune systems. The only difference was that half of the group got their medications earlier in the day and the other half got them later. The surprise finding was that the time of the day made the difference. Patients who got their first rounds of treatments before 3 p.m. had on average about 5 more months before their cancers grew and spread, and they lived almost a year longer than those who got their treatments later in the day. They also had better odds of being alive at the end of the 2-year study. Google's parent company Alphabet said Wednesday it plans to double its AI spending this year. It plans to spend up to $185 billion in 2026 as it builds artificial intelligence data centers across the country. It spent more than $90 billion in 2025 on such AI projects. The higher projected spending comes as Alphabet's annual revenue passed the $400 billion mark for the first time last year. Now it's been 1 week since Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, went missing in what authorities believe was an abduction. Investigators returned to her home Friday, where they were seen taking a closer look at the roof of her house and at a vehicle. CBS News' Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson with the latest.
Sunday marks 1 week since Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, was reported missing from her Tucson area home. Authorities have yet to identify a person of interest or suspect in the case, but on Friday came signs of progress as investigators returned to the residence. 2 agents were seen on the roof of Nancy Guthrie's house, and cell phone video shows a vehicle being towed from the home, reportedly a blue Subaru SUV belonging to Nancy Guthrie. A neighbor told CBS News authorities came onto his property Friday to conduct readings.
I was putting a coating on the roof and a Suburban drove up. And a gentleman had a badge and asked to park here and take readings of some kind.
Area residents say they're on edge following Guthrie's disappearance.
People are they're very unhappy and they're kind of in shock with it, and they're hoping against hope, but every day that goes by is not a good sign.
Look, where is she? What has happened?
All of this comes as investigators are trying to verify a new message that came in Friday to see if it's real and if it's connected to earlier alleged ransom notes. In a joint statement, they say, quote, investigators are actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity.
We need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward.
The Guthrie family has been pleading for communication with the potential captor or captors. A first unverified ransom note demanded payment in Bitcoin and sent 2 deadlines, but left no way of reaching out. The FBI is continuing to work to determine the note's authenticity. The next deadline specified in the note is Monday. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Tucson, Arizona.
And back here in Madison, the Clean Lakes Lions kicked off their 14th annual Frozen Assets Festival at the Edgewater. The festival highlights everything snow and ice related, from hockey and snowshoeing on Lake Mendota to a Winter Olympics watch party and so much more. Although one of the main attractions on the ice wasn't even initially intended to be part of that festival. An igloo created by a group of UW students drew attention from those traveling along the ice from the Frozen Assets Festival to the university's Winter Carnival.
Everybody making their way to and from the 2 events here and kind of having a third side event, which seems to have become quite popular actually, which really makes me happy. It's really just thrilling to see the community come out and really support the igloo and really find it fun.
Builders of the igloo say that each of the 83 blocks in the igloo weigh between 50 and 70 pounds. The free festival continues tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first wind forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller, who might have visited the igloo himself.
Oh, I made it a point, Jalen and folks watching, to get inside that igloo. There was a pretty decent line, but it was worth it. And I was able to speak to, I believe, the other person who helped construct that igloo. And I just wanted to let him know that it was really cool that he had made this, because he told me he did it just, and his constructing friend there, they just did it on a whim. But it really gave a lot of folks who came down over these last couple of days, and maybe we'll go tomorrow, just this really fun, exciting moment that we don't really get to experience. So if they're watching, thank you. I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of folks did too as well. As we sat underneath 20s with a little bit of sunshine this morning, the temperatures were pretty decent for the 5K to get out and enjoy the Winter Carnival, to get out on the ice. And believe it or not, the ice is nearly 20 inches thick in some spots on Lake Mendota, but I don't think it's going to stay that thick as we go further into next week. As temperatures climb into the 40s Monday and Tuesday especially, and then again that following Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be doing a lot of melting during the day. Temperatures, even when we cool down Wednesday next week through the upcoming weekend, still above freezing, so we will be doing a little bit of melting. Not to mention our overnight lows aren't going to be as cold as where they have been, so we'll be chipping away at more ice than what will grow overnight. So just be careful if you're going to be heading out on the ice, especially into the second half of next week. All of our forecast highs compared to where we should be for this time of year, above normal. Most of them seasonal, about 5 or so degrees warmer than average. But when we get into those 40s, that's what our forecast highs go anywhere between 10 to about 15 degrees above average. Now, even though our average high right now is 29 degrees, we'll get into those low 30s over the next week or so. So maybe that difference won't be as much, but it just shows you that we're really entering more or less into what will likely be a prolonged warmer than average period. Not necessarily major warm up, but I would say leaning more seasonal to a few degrees above average, with maybe a day or two 10 to 15 degrees above average. And it all begins at the backside of this high pressure system, which is going to be moving out tonight, bumping us into the 30s tomorrow underneath eventually partly sunny conditions. 40s return on Monday as a low pressure system moves through the area. We're likely not going to tap into a lot of that moisture Monday night, but we may squeeze out a light rain snow mix shower, especially further north Monday into the start of Tuesday before we quiet down on Tuesday. Northerly winds will take back over. We'll go back into those low 30s for Wednesday, but will still remain above freezing. So other than that chance Monday night, we have to wait until Wednesday night into Thursday night to then get another chance for rain or possibly a rain-snow mix. It's not looking too impressive right now. I would say of the two, more of us might see more of the mix on Wednesday into Thursday. But what is interesting is our 2-week outlook. We have a bullseye of about 60 to 70% chance of being wetter than average in the days following Valentine's Day. This also coincides with warmer than average temperatures as well. I think when we get in those days beyond Valentine's Day, so the end of our extended forecast and beyond, I think we're going to get much more active in terms of a couple of big systems moving through the area, whether they bring snow, rain, maybe even some thunderstorms. We will just have to wait and see. But I think we've been quiet for the first half of for February. The second half, I think, is going to be a little bit warmer and a little bit more active.
I mean, as long as we can just get a stretch where things are relatively calm. We had like those frigid temps.
I just said we're about to get active. It's not going to be calm.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, like, next week?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We got those frigid temps.
Okay.
Now we're moving into a warmer, calm period. So as long as we can get some of that, then.
Yes, we will have one more week.
Before stuff breaks
before
loose.
Things happen, and I hope it is kind to us.
All right, I'm sure we're both with you on that one, Blaze. What do we have coming up in sports?
Yeah, some good stuff tonight. Still ahead, a lot of Bucky. The Badger men's basketball team hit the road for a Big Ten matchup. Plus, the top 2 ranked women's hockey teams in the country battled it out on the ice in Madison. Stick around for that next and more in sports.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
The Wisconsin men's basketball team was back out on the court earlier today for the first time in a week, continuing a long stretch of Big Ten matchups, this time on the road in Bloomington taking on the Hoosiers. The Badgers looking to stay hot, winning 7 of their past 8, led by that man right there, head coach Greg Gard. Bucky, however, would start off cold, trailing by as many as 14 points early in the first half. But Nolan Winter, he would get UW rolling in the right direction, showing big man can shoot from behind the arc. He would finish with team-high 26 points on the night with a double-double. Wisconsin would eventually crawl their way back into this one as we fast forward now to crunch time. Nick Boyd with the ball stepping up and firing from deep as he connects. He would finish 5 for 6 from 3. 40 minutes, though, would not be enough for these two teams as we head to overtime square at 72. Wisconsin looking in good shape as time is winding down, but a Nick Boyd offensive foul would lead to 2 IU free throws as Indiana walks away from this one, winning it 78-77. Let's travel back to Madison now, where we head out to an exciting one on the ice, a rematch of last year's national championship game. Wisconsin women's hockey taking on Ohio State. The top 2 teams in the country were out at the Laban. The Badgers, however, shorthanded, missing 5 players who are across the pond in Italy for the Olympics. And for Bucky, it ended up being costly. The Badgers go down 2-0 early, the first goal coming from Jordan Petrie with a wrist shot from the face-off dot. We go now to under a minute left in the first period when a shot from the point on the power play leads to an easy rebound goal. The Buckeyes up heading into intermission. Fast forward through the second to the third, OSU is able to double their lead, but the Badgers don't go down without a fight. Ava Murphy is able to sneak one through to the back of the net, but that would be all she wrote as the Buckeyes finally get their revenge on the Badgers, winning this one 4-1. The Wisconsin men's hockey team would hop out on the rink just a couple hours later across the street at the Kohl Center. Last night, they snapped a 6-game skid against the Fighting Irish. Let's go see if they could get some more momentum moving with another home game win tonight. Now, if you like good defense and goaltending, then this was not the game for you. 8 goals scored split down the middle before the third period even begins, which is where we find ourselves now, halfway through the final 20 minutes. Notre Dame with some poor puck movement at the point, which gives the Badgers numbers heading towards their own end. A quick pass from Gavin Morrissey to Christian Fitzgerald, who sends it right over the netminder's glove, lighting the lamp and giving Bucky the lead. The Badgers hold on to this one, winning another big game at home, 5-4. And finally, we close the night out on a diamond. Badger softball started their season yesterday in Florida. Winners of their first 2 at the Paradise Classic. However, they suffered their first loss this evening against the Florida Atlantic Owls, losing 4-3. That was just game 1, though, of the doubleheader, as they had a shot at redemption with another matchup against Stonehill College, a team they beat yesterday 9-0. And look at that, they doubled down against the Skyhawks. Today, winning 6-0, splitting their Saturday doubleheader.
Huge day for UW Athletics this evening and earlier today. You go ahead and pick a game that we can talk about because, I mean, tons of W's, tons of points. What should we talk about?
I mean, Wisconsin hockey. I mean, going on they beat some top teams this year. They beat Michigan in Michigan, and going from that and playing a tough team at home, Notre Dame bouncing back like they needed to. It was just something that was really exciting, especially 2 games that they came back when they were trailing and came back to win. So good job for the Badger men hockey team.
I know, as I was looking at that final goal, I'm like, dang, I wish I could have been there. But it was fun to see the highlights. Thank you, Nash. A final check of your first run forecast is coming up when we return. All right, Blaze, it's been a bit of a warm-up. How long should we expect this to last?
We're going to look to stay warmer than average pretty much from tomorrow through the rest of our extended forecast. Back into the 30s we go with partly sunny conditions by the end of Sunday. There's a look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. 40s on Monday, Tuesdays as well. So maybe if you're not feeling great on Monday after, a pretty big day on Sunday, you still won't miss out on those 40s. We'll be a little bit cooler on Wednesday. Rain snow mix moves in Wednesday night into Thursday, but for now it looks like we will be quiet on Valentine's Day, but I think that is likely going to change.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze, and thank you, Nash, and thank you all for joining us. Time to break out those shorts with those 40s. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Seinfeld is up next.